This is Michael from the Board Games Chronicle. I've been waiting to make this material long, probably a bit too long, as we all were waiting for the new deluxe edition of Fields of Fire. Today it arrived. Today we talk about Fields of Fire Deluxe Edition, game designed by Ben Hull from GMT Games. Fields of Fire for many years, because it was published, I believe, like over 10 years ago, was and had opinion of the fantastic simulation of a small squad combat, which is very, very, very hard to learn due to the complexity of the rules, due to some errors in the rule book, due to simply the amount of information you need to digest to be able to play the games. One thing which you could not deny is that the games was really exciting, thrilling, and giving a lot of pleasure. That is why it was decided, once the GMT1 team was created, to put this as one of the first game to simply get a deluxe edition. And by the deluxe edition, we don't mean the new components, new beautiful cards, and so on. This is also true. But what was the most important, to create a set of materials which will bring the players to the game more easily. By no means this means making the game different, easier, more shallow, or getting important parts of the rules from it. No, it's simply guiding you through the game more easily, adding to the rule book, adding to the manuals, adding to the scenario book. And this is exactly what happened during, I believe, last 5 years, something like this, since we first heard about it. What we get after this time is a huge, very heavy box. You can see, I don't know, is it 3-inch? So it's this deeper GMT box. It says, of course, volume 1, because this is the volume 1. At the back, you would see the details as it was actually in the original, with some changes. First of all, most importantly, the guys from GMT1 did a great job here of helping here in rewriting some of the rule books, rewriting some of the guides. Yeah. This, of course, solitary game with 2+ hours per scenario. Age 14+, I believe, is correct. And it tells the story of the wars during the Second World War, during the Korean War and Vietnam, of one particular division, the 9th, keep up the fire. So this is exactly the 9th Manchu Infantry Division. And it will guide us through Normandy, Battle of Naktung River, Heartbreak Ridge, and then the Vietnam. Okay, let's see what we have inside. This is one of the few games where I'm doing the unboxing second time, because the first time is of the first edition. Let's open this huge beast. It's really heavy, guys, when I'm opening this. Okay, first thing which we immediately see is that the series rule book has a different type of, let's say, connection here. I'm not sure how you call it in English, but I like the approach. The rule book is big, and it will be much easier to sort, to open it. So the rule book is like 96 pages. I don't think it's much shorter than the original one. There are some things added. And this is not definitely something, if you have never played the Fields of Fire, you would like to start with. You will be rather starting with the manuals. And let me jump to them, and then we'll come back to the rulebook. We have 2 manuals in the game. We have a Rifle Company, Infantry Regiment, Fields of Fire manual. This is the part 1, basic platoon and company training. And then you have Rifle Company, Infantry and Airborne Battle Groups, Fields of Fire field manual, and this is part 2, advanced operations. So there are 2 manuals which will guide you through learning process. And they very nicely, step by step, show all main game mechanics. Why am I saying this? Because you could use and see the manuals already on the GMT page some time ago. Let's see what we have in manual. First of all, it's thick. It's like 50 pages of a learning material, but don't worry, there's a lot of pictures. So yeah, it guides you, introduction, how you use it, basic gameplay, and then we have assault course of the platoon and company assault course, activation movement, attacking an enemy position, and potential contact. Then in the company assault course, you will have assaulting a known position, potential contact system, and adding communications. You have all the basic concepts like battalion HQ, company HQ, company staff, platoons HQs, and actual, soldiers within the platoons, how they work, how the map looks like. Here we have platoon assault course. So there's some background, some information, and then we have a run one, which says activation and movement. What objectives you have, what components we need, how do we set it up, and we actually will be doing those things. So this is cool thing in this, manual, that it guides you through actual step-by-step examples. So what happens in turn 1? Yeah, it shows you this stuff. Turn 2 and turn 3, then turn 4, and then the conclusion. I believe it's a good material for doing kind of short videos, which will be presenting to the players the actual gameplay. And as you can see they went here already. Then we have attacking an enemy position. I will not be going through everything, but it follows similar approach. What are the objectives? How you set up the map? What weapons? Checking the line of sight, and the steps-by-step example with turn 1 is again several turns. Turn 2, okay, we started to fire. Turn 3, so it's a bit longer example, and turn 4. Then we have assault course run 3. This is potential contact. How do you resolve it? Again, all the components needed. I really like it because it makes learning so much easier if you go step by step through those things. And it guides you in a similar way through this, and then it will jump to the company level. Yes, chapter 5 is company assault course, so it's a bit more difficult because you not only have one platoon, but you have 2 platoons and the company HQ. Yep. So this is the first manual, the basic, and then you have a second manual, which are advanced operations. Let's see what we have here. With introduction, we have example of play. We add the vehicles and anti-tank combat. We show the defensive setup, preparing for air assault, reconstitution and replacement, very important. And at the end, we'll have some designer notes and game credits. Again, like 48 pages. So let's see this. So planning for the mission. It starts to tell you how to plan for the mission. What would you like to achieve? Yeah, how would you like to begin? What kind of equipment you will need? And the example of play will show exactly how it was done. This is the mission. These are the assets, because you need also to use some assets like flares and stuff like this. When I was first learning this game, it was rocket science for me. I was not knowing where to use it, how to use it, and it really took me some time to learn by reading the forums and so on. I will gladly go through those training materials once again to solidify my knowledge of this game. Again, you have really nice example of play. Will not be going through all of this. 2 turns and the situation at the end. And then we have anti-tank combat, which is cool in this game also. And here you have defensive setup with 3 platoons. There are some interesting missions when there is a counter-attack and you need to defend. Oh, this is nice. Frontline reserve. Wow, that's nicely done. We'll definitely try to play it and check it. Air assault planning card. This is especially important for the Vietnam. Another level of complexity, let's be honest, and reality, reconstitution and replacement. So guys, if you have never ever played try this one. If you played and would like to refresh your knowledge of the rules, try those two. I'm not sure if you need actually to go through both of those manuals to start playing the actual game, because the initial scenarios will not have all the air landing and so on. Usually it's enough to do this manual and a part of this manual to be able to play majority of the scenarios, but strongly recommended to check them. And now we can come back to the rule book, because now when you started with the training, you know how the rule book will look like. So the rule book has table of contents here with everything: preparing for mission, sequence of play, command and control, all other stuff. Very important, if you are unfamiliar with Fields of Fire or you need a refresh of the rules, find the field manuals and follow the exercises included there, which are intended to teach you the concept and rules of the game. Strongly recommended, guys. Strongly recommended. It's created exactly for this, for easing the process of learning. In the rulebook, of course, you will have all the things: glossary, components, how you prepare for the mission, all these boundaries, left, right, line of departure, phase lines, and so on. You need all to plan it, and it's not far from the reality how it was actually done. Yeah, the card depiction. This is a great concept, and I need to give kudos to Ben Hull. With those cards, you don't use any kind of dice, but you can, do a lot of things, like how many activation commands you have, initiative commands. Here we have action attempt area, anti-tank number, high HQ event, hit effect section, random number section, combat resolution. Really, those cards are perfect, and they have, of course, appropriate distribution among them. So if you have a bad rolls at some point in time, you will have nice rolls here. So it's not like it's always bad. By the way, the rule book is not glossy, as you can see. I have artificial light today, unfortunately, but it's not a problem at all for us. This is an example of a Normandy Mission 1. It helps you to set it up immediately. And as I told you, not necessarily you would have immediately the tanks there, although you might have them there. A detailed example of play. And as I said, I love this binding. It's so much easier than to check the stuff, all the rules. I can't wait to dig into this. At the end, you have turn sequence summary. It could be used as a player aid, of course. You have all the important terms, index of examples. Okay, urban combat loss example. Another tricky thing, some of the scenarios from the first and second edition in Vietnam could be mind-blowing experiences. Okay, rulebook, 100 pages, full of a great content. And then we will talk about mission and example of play. So we have standalone mission and example of play, Fields of Fire Volume 1. And then we will have, I believe, like 4 scenario books for the June 8th, August 16 in Normandy. Let me bring them to you. Then you would have August, September in North Korea. August, October in North Korea also, 51. And the last one will be in Vietnam. So these are the 4 mission books. They are full of missions, but also special setups during them. But before this, let's look at this Keep Up the Fire standalone mission and example of play. So it again shows you which units you need to use, and as you can see, there are no vehicles here, so it will be easier scenario. You don't need to read the full manual, you don't need to read the full rulebook. Although shooting at the vehicles has its also interesting feelings. At least I remember when I was playing, for example, the Japanese counter-attack at Peleliu, those tanks attacking the well-defended positions and shooting at them. It was simply some exciting experience. I would not call it fun, exciting experience. It shows you the setup. Yeah, it shows you also organization table. It's an example of place, so you have it all predetermined. You have higher headquarter events, German force packages, because you will be discovering them, and depending whom you discover, you will be hit by this. I remember playing first time Fields of Fire and trying to nail down how to connect this with those potential contacts. When I discovered this, I was so proud of myself. Yeah, that's true. And when we go with the actual example of play, I believe this is another great material to do some kind of video for you guys to learn it. Huge number of possibilities here. So this example of play, and it finishes at this moment. Of course, you can play further. Okay, look. What else do we have? I told you we have like 4 mission books. I was not joking saying that we have a lot of great content. This is, I would say example of a setup of a first scenario. Very nicely done. And then you would have table of contents, which tells you which missions you have. You have like 7 missions. But there will be historical notes, there will be also campaign unit guide, table of organizations and special rules, because it will not be the same as in Vietnam or in Korea. Yeah, the weapons were different, the tactics were slightly different. And you will have 7 of missions. So these are the historical notes with the nice maps. I really appreciate it. Then the unit guide. Then table of organization, how the company looked like during this particular campaign. Special rules, pretty many of them. And then the mission. Let's look only at one mission. So this is the first mission, pretty small, 4x3 with the initial setup here. Tactical conditions. Yeah, always you have special higher headquarter events, enemy force packages, so whom we actually be fighting with, contact packages, how to get them. Okay, and special roles, and there is a possibility of counterattack. And as I told you, there are 7 of those. What is interesting, at the end you have also the way you remove or decrease the strength of a unit. So German units, how they reduce the strength. So the basic units, when one step hit, you have those 2 fire team and the regular from 3 dots to 2 dots, and the last 2 steps you have fire team and fire team here. S like single, A like automatic, if I remember correctly. C is like close range, L is a long range, which it makes a difference, of course, in volume of fire. Then we have another 2 rule books, mission books. You can see the setup of the first mission. I like it how they did it on the second and the third page. This is the setup for the first scenario here. Very, very much appreciated. We have, of course, historical notes, unit guide, special rules, and then 7 missions. And let's look at the first mission. Unit guide, okay, company table, special rules, mission 1, battle for Cloverleaf. So the situation, the map is larger than in the first mission in Normandy, definitely larger. We had 3-4, so it was very much smaller. You have all the events here, force packages, contact packages and special rules. Okay. At the end, again, you would have how you make the units weaker. So how the units of North Korea are then weakened by one step, by two steps. You can see it here. And this was the second. Now we have a third mission book. And this is the first mission, very narrow and but very deep. That's interesting. And yeah, this is more in the mountains. Actually, you have 3 phases of attack, and it will be like 8 missions altogether. This is historical part, special rules and organization, and the first mission, Bloody Ridge. Yes, this is definitely looking like a bloody ridge, narrow and up the hill. Again, at the end you have the units, how you break them down. 8 scenarios. Last but not least, we have Vietnam, and here we will have, of course, helicopters. Again, the first scenario. Wow, that's very interesting because this is starting with a landing zone, guys, and so this scenario immediately puts you on the helicopter. Wow, helicopter assaults. Colorful pictures, by the way, in comparison to previous wars. Okay, historical notes, then the units in campaign, the organization of our company, the special rules for the battle, and now the mission 1. And exactly, we have landing zone inside, and we have many potential contacts, many of them. This would be random terrain, this would be random terrain, but face up, so we'll be able to see it immediately. So we land here and we spread. Mission special rules and the events. Another possible operation with the choppers. So this is the units breakdown. How many missions do we have here? Like 7. Okay. The mission not included. That's interesting. Some additional cool stuff. Okay. So guys, 4 mission books, 1 example of play, 2 field manuals, and a rule book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books just to start. So 8 books full of content. And when my wife asks me, why you are reading so many rule books, you should read more books. I said, I read books about history in those rule books too. We will have like 6 sheets of tokens. That's a lot, but finally the box is deep enough to be able to accommodate them. So let me show you the counters. The classical counters, I believe there was not much changes here. Volume of fire, yeah, exactly. Communication, the flowers, yeah, so these are the generic markers. Here we have also a lot of generic markers like litter team, paralyzed teams, the generic assault and fire teams, activated. Here we have already the units, the tanks, volume of fire. Then we start with the German units. Here are the Germans, you can see. Here are the units of our company, most probably from the Normandy, because this would be automatic, so this will not be Normandy, more like Vietnam. This, of course, 2-sided. You need to remember that you will have also ammo clips, and if you move you will be exposed, but you can also find a cover. Potential contacts, these are the things you will be discovering, and based on this some enemy packages will be discovered here. Then we have another set of North Korean troops, I believe. And this will be from the Korea War, and this will be the Vietnamese, I think. Last but not least, even more potential contacts, even more Vietnamese units. Here we have landing zones, yeah. Here we can have also veterans. You know, there's an element of role play in this game because your units can be promoted, you can get some skills when you go through all of those missions. Pretty cool. What do we have else here? So we have our landing zone, and here we'll be preparing the air assault groups. By the way, I have taken out the player aids, so there are charts and tables. Player aid, action menus, then you would like to, of course, write down your setup of your company and how it fared in the mission. I propose to zero copy this, of course, so you can use it. And these are different, most probably for each of the 4 mission books. Here we have sequence of play. I believe we have also this at the back of the rule book. This is important. Vehicle and anti-tank weapons chart. We will not be going in details now. Volume of fire modifiers. And also enemy packages. This was also enemy defensive activity check hierarchy, something which I learned hard way when playing first time the Fields of Fire, but also was very proud once I understood it. The display you will be using during your games. Really nice to see, how they did it with all the stuff here. Last but not least, we will have cards, and I believe there was some misprint, and they already added the cards to be corrected. So you can see, due to an error in our print files, 7 cards in Normandy deck numbered 924th and 94th were incorrectly printed. Please replace the correspondingly numbered cards in Normandy deck with the cards contained in this package. Let me not open this because I don't want to mix them. We have a lot of cards. If you look at all the cards, it will be huge. But we don't have a map because the map in this game is created from cards. So we'll have cards for the map pieces. We'll have cards for the roles and for the commands. This multi-purpose cards. Okay, these are the terrain cards. And you should have at the back the information from which part. So these are Normandy cards and these are the Vietnam cards. You can feel how fresh they are. Each card will have information about the cover, possibility to find additional cover and some other stuff. Also the blast. Will not be going in details now because this unboxing is getting already very long. But it's not because of me, but how much content we have in the box. Simply a lot. We counted like 7-8 books, hundreds of cards, 6 sheets of counters. So this is the action deck. Let me put it aside. And this is the Normandy Fields of Fire deck. Here we'll have to do this, replacement of the errata cards, which we mentioned. So Normandy, let's put here. Vietnam we put here for now. Let's open the last deck. I believe we will have 4 decks because the Korean ones will be 2, one from 1950 and the other from 51, or maybe they will use only one. Oh no, you see, they have the same color, so this is 50. But they need to add some cards, mainly from the mountains, I would say, for the attack in 51. Let me see. Okay, that way. Yes, hills. That was my expectation, that they are adding hills in 51. Then we have action deck of these multi-purpose cards. It's pretty good number of commands actually, but all the misses here. So you can see here we have some additional of those action cards. Yep. And we have still a reshuffle action deck. You put it inside, and some abbreviation of the rules, like miniature player 8. Okay guys, we are hitting the 30 minutes mark, so I believe it's good time to pause here and finish the unboxing. Wow, I haven't seen so much great, fantastic content in one box for a long time. Fields of Fire Deluxe Edition really makes a great impression, and it's really full of beautiful stuff, high quality content. Several books, 4 mission books, rule book, example of play, two manuals, you name it, 6 pages of encounters. That's really so much great stuff with which we'll have, I would say, not tens, but even hundreds of hours of play if you'd like to go through all of this. Can't wait to bring this to the table, especially the manuals, because I would like to go again through those, training materials and refresh my memory. You can count on many more, materials from this game. And we'll start from the easiest one, the ones which shows the basic rules, but I believe we'll play also some scenarios. That's all for today from me. Really glad this game arrived, courtesy of GMT, for which I would like to thank. I will definitely be playing more of this, and will be sharing this content with you guys. If you liked this video, do not hesitate and give thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like that, also please subscribe. Every small subscription counts for such a small content provider like the Board Games Chronicle. Thank you very much for being today with me, and thank you for watching.